Out from one of the buildings, appears to be like a municipal, like town, like square hall sort of thing where you'd have like family gatherings and other sort of events that would occur. Steps out a group of 5 individuals. The first individual, I will now reveal to you. We'll zoom in a bit on the map, like so. The withered being, especially spotted through the binoculars, has a look of familiarity despite its desiccation. A husk of leathery gray skin within a black zoot suit. Beneath the brim of the felt fedora is a face cast in darkness, with hardened lips and pinpricks of golden light for eyes. That same yellow hue can be seen from within the creature, pulsing grotesquely through arteries and veins in a hideous mockery of life. But it's more than just a physical assault when you observe this husk. All of you feel a dread chill running along your spines, a weight of apprehension settling upon your shoulders, a miasma of terror so thick with death that it threatens to choke you. There can be no mistaking this creature's malice. It exudes evil and cruelty from every pore, an aura of putrefaction that directly offends every human instinct you possess. Mechanically speaking, a special aspect of this creature causes anyone who sees it to roll automatically on the fear table as if you had failed your fear test. You two can handle that. That's a 1d10 plus 6 minus your willpower.
This is something I haven't had to do. Ever. Tony doesn't get scared.
That was what exactly?
1d10 plus 6 minus your willpower.
I just need to make sure my willpower is what I think it is. Yep. Well.
I'm good.
Alright. Fletch. Maybe it's he fucking, like, voluntarily, like, lowers, like, the binoculars, like, nope. It's just, like, 2 seconds into that. Nope, not even looking at that.
As soon as he sees it, he's just too involved in his own mind, like, son of a bitch. He's not even paying attention to what's happening anymore.
Oh, so there's that. Let's see, I actually haven't made the willpower checks for, the 2 NPCs. I figured I would save that for this.
Well, Lance is a vampire. He's immune.
6 minus 2 for, Jax. Alright. And then, Lance. 1d10 plus 6 minus 4. Alright. Lance has the shakes. Jax manages to keep it in. I'm gonna say he fucking does the same thing. Like, he lowers his binoculars. No. Trusty Tony, who has never fucking had any single thing like this happen to him ever. He runs away screaming. Trusty Tony. Like, it breaks through, like, his nerves of steel. Like, he actually gets a glimpse of, no! He fucking begins screaming. He loses control. He fucking runs right out of the bedroom. He heads down the staircase.
It's like somebody was just approved for a 0% loan.
And he loses 2 essence points.
As soon as he starts screaming, gonna try to close the window and blinds if they exist very quickly.
Alright. Okay. Let me look at my dice here for the NPC. Alright. Fletch does that. Jax is a bit stunned by that. Lance is definitely, he's shaken. He can't even react. And Trusty Tony, for several seconds, he gets all the way down the staircase and he gets to the door, and then he regains control of himself.
He's like, what the fuck? I'm Trusty Tony. I don't get scared. Yeah, it was just a fluke. Yeah.
There's 4 other figures who left outside with, behind that individual. Binoculars were lowered. However, Fletch, he's pretty perceptive with his position since he's immediately toned to that. It seems like some of the heads have rotated who were kneeled on the ground in the circle to look at the direction where the house is.
Yep, time to go.
All right.
Post haste.
Yep. With that kind of head start in mind, it's not an issue. No problem. The four of you the two NPCs are committed to escaping. The four of you manage to leave Artesia behind and get through the grasslands between that and Fort Drake. Sounds of alarm and other lights are spreading through as people begin their search where you were, but you managed to evade them. And in time, perhaps at a jog, if not a run, make it back to the outskirts of Fort Drake.
I think we're gonna have to like double the watch or something.
What the fuck was that?
You're asking me?
Yeah?
I don't fucking know.
You're rambling, man. You've seen the crazy stuff.
Oh yeah, I see burned people come back to life holding rituals all the time.
Lance looks a little wild-eyed for his part, like he keeps casting like furtive glances back at Artesia, as if whatever the fuck that was is about to like suddenly spring up behind you all.
It could.
Yeah. Jax is going to remain silent on this front and says, "We're going to have to wake the others."
Yeah.
Tony's gonna be quiet for a while. That was the most uncool thing he's ever done.
That he can remember that he's ever done.
Yep.
Not even the soybeans?
That was awesome. Just in the wrong way.
What about when he tried to go through the window down in the lab? And
That was
couldn't
also
get through
awesome,
it?
and would have worked had they not had the double pane glass. You know it.
It's something that so offended his entire humanity to break through the nerves of steel, and Trusty Tony went, "No."
And ran.
Do not want. Swag can't beat that.
Gonna have to level up my swag abilities.
Yep. So yes, that's where the four of you are. Maybe, 1:30. I say 1:30. We'll say 1:30. In the morning, the four of you are at the outskirts of Fort Drake. Still quite a number of miles to go to get back to the towers, but you do have the bicycles and the forklift where you left them.
Well, at least it wasn't all bad. Tony lights up a nice cigarette. What?
Gotta look at the tobacco lining.
It's yeah. Camels.
Well, that's definitely the first occurrence of seeing
That.
something that I assume has turned that appears to still maintain its intelligence or sentience.
I don't know, man.
Or
Gotta
maybe they were just,
That's smart.
I don't know.
Jack shakes his head. "It would have been better had we been able to watch and learn more, but for..." And then, like, the military guy turns his head towards Trusty Tony.
Yes.
Yeah. Just kind of thinking the same thing, but it's a moot point now.
I don't see a problem. Yeah, it was a problem.
Let's just head on back to the towers already. We gained nothing by standing here looking behind our shoulders.
Oh, I assumed we were,
Yeah.
riding down the street.
Sure.
Yeah.
You definitely be doing that. It's about 2 in the morning. You folks make it back. Jack's radio is in. It's something that will get to everyone, calling for all individuals, except for the person currently holding watch, which we'll say is Ace, to gather up the ground floor of the administrative tower. The PCs are welcome to do so if they so choose, or they can remain asleep or just say, "Fuck it, I ain't doing shit."
Well, I'm already up, so of course
Yep.
I'm.
This is more pointed at
Definitely go up now.
Potman and Kathlyn.
Potman?
Aaron, did you go eat?
Yes.
I'll be back. I have to go sign a check.
Okay. Do you have a response, Aaron?
Nah, Potman ain't saying shit.
Okay. Fine. Chris?
Nightmare. I've not been good on Cat. She's not really awake yet.
Okay. Fine. That in mind, then. See, Fletch and Trusty Tony are awake and available. And Lance and Jax are soon joined by the others. The other NPCs who are not currently keeping watch, who manage to rouse themselves in various states of disgruntled. Especially given the time, 2 in the morning and all. And all of you end up gathering at a meeting place. Including Potman.
Gonna groggily acknowledge that things are happening as I hear people get up.
Yep.
Sort of stumble over it.
It's a lot of sound, Zane, complaining about not being able to get that much sleep. Crash telling Zane to shut the fuck up.
I think shut the fuck up is what woke me up. I managed to stumble up rather loudly as I stand up.
Sure. Breaker muttering incoherently. Riggs not saying anything.
Trusty Tony
It's funny.
smoking.
Shut the fuck up is usually what sends Potman to sleep.
Shut the fuck up, Potman.
Stories from his childhood.
It's got a nostalgic feel to it.
But Granny, shut the fuck up and go to sleep. Okay.
Love you too, Granny.
That's right. Yeah. Lance remains wild-eyed. Shades are down. Jax looks pretty concerned as well. Trusty Tony kicking back, smoking a cigarette. And as everyone filters in, Riggs is pretty blunt to the point with a what the fuck happened.
I found a pack. I found some smokes.
Well, we got to the town and found that the group was gathered around the center of the town. They'd set some shit on fire, and they were... Anyway, we snuck up closer to get a good look. And there was a few dozen, maybe 45 to 60 people, kind of in a half-circle type thing around the center. Or was it a full circle? I don't remember. They were all chanting in Latin and bowing before... How was she strung up? Like, held up by the hands?
It was a hands and feet. She was basically hogtied onto the stake. Which is a wooden pole
They were all
stabbed in the ground.
bowing around the blind chick that we ran into a while back, tied up
Deaf.
around a post. Deaf, whatever. Same thing.
Okay, Helen Keller.
No, that would be both.
Oh god, I wonder what they did to her kid.
We didn't see it, so...
The weirdest
I don't want
part
to know.
was actually that... Imagine Megaphone if you threw him in that fire for a couple minutes, pulled him out, infected him, and let him keep walking around in his suit.
I'd rather not.
Till you mentioned letting him walk around, I was kind of on board.
He walked out of one of the buildings and did not seem like the rest of them.
So he wasn't chewing on some of his people.
No, he seemed composed.
Uh-huh. Speaking of
Not
composed,
decomposed?
Or extremely burned, one of the two.
Jack shakes his head. Weren't able to see much, and then cast like an accusing glare at Tony. This one right here decided to stand up and run screaming down the stairs, alerting everyone to our position.
Cast an accusing glare and then accuses him.
Yes.
Tony
Jax is a direct man.
Tony doesn't even deign to recognize it. Camels.
Not really sure what to make of it, but there's a lot more of them than I had hoped.
More of the people, not more of the, crispy zombie zoot suit man.
I don't know, we only saw the one, but then we kind of had to get out of there.
Lance shakes his head. We didn't even have an opportunity to really study anything, but it didn't look like they had much in the way of defenses at all. We didn't encounter anyone up until our point there. I don't know whether they were all just gathered there for whatever the fuck their ritual was.
So, what little you saw of, Megaphone, or assumedly Megaphone, did he move at normal speed? Because that could be a real problem.
You did not have enough time to even try to assess that.
We were only there long enough to pretty much see him come out in front of the group.
Great.
Now that I think about it, I actually had the worst reaction I could have in that situation.
You don't say.
Actually, no, total hysterics would have been worse, but that was just,
This
Real
could have gone.
close.
Trusty Tony could have just fainted there.
That would have been better.
One moment, handsome.
Yep. But you know, it adds to the legacy. Trusty Tony running away screaming from a situation. That's how you know it's bad.
Yeah. Shit's real bad.
The other NPCs, Zane, Crash and Breaker, look in various states of terrified. Not really knowing this whole megaphone business, but the fact there's such a mass of people up there, could be the sleep. Yeah, it's not good.
Now, as far as their defenses go, they mobilized pretty quickly for one. But second, we've kind of observed group or whatever kind of mindset in the infected. If he's one of them, what's to say that they'll even mess with his group?
Maybe he's just really badly burnt.
Jack says, that doesn't make any sense. We've never seen that at all.
Well, we've seen things.
They've all looked human down there to me.
We've seen things.
Hey, I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I'm just saying we shouldn't count on the infected taking care of this problem for us.
Lance says, well, maybe, if they do this whole group gathering thing, and it might be a nightly thing, we can try another night and sweep in there and crush them? Lance looks a little nervous.
Crush
Blow
them.
them the fuck up?
Do we
That
have?
suggests.
Yeah. Do we have enough explosives to, just?
Why use explosives when we can just sneak in late at night and then, just kill them silently?
Because what you said sounds scary as fuck.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything that could make Tony shit himself or whatever.
I
the
didn't
hell.
shit myself. My pants are clean.
What
Sure.
he did. If it could make him scared, I kind of want to blow it up.
That would require actually getting in there and planting the explosives.
Planting, throwing off of a helicopter.
Yeah, does anyone here know how to throw explosives out to a helicopter?
They might notice a helicopter coming and scatter.
Or might shoot it down?
Yeah, that too.
Rick says, the problem involved is that all of that will create more noise and fire. That could undoubtedly attract even more people, and whatever the hell these down zombie infected things are to the region, we've been fairly lucky up to this point in avoiding attention.
Well, we can't do much without more information.
Zane
What are we
asks,
wanting to do?
Zane asks, won't it be harder if to do that whole scout mission if they
Yeah.
won't they know you're coming?
They're probably going to be more on guard now.
It's true.
Jack says, maybe they don't know. Maybe no one shot at us. Maybe they didn't actually spot us. They just heard the sound. Sound could have been anything, right?
Like a guy running through the kitchen, yelling. It's a pretty distinct sound.
Jack's like mumbles off. I mean, it was sheltered by the walls, and they were busy with the ritual.
Maybe, but
He doesn't look entirely convinced.
I don't think they would mobilize a full alerted search if they didn't think it was people.
So, double watches until we figure out what's going on?
Still gotta decide what we want to do.
Crush them seems like a good option because they're going to be, if they stay nearby. I doubt they're going to move on. Something just tells me.
If they are actually infected, Riggs begins, that means, as far as I'm aware, that they need to eat, and that means that they would keep moving, and if there are people nearby, I can't imagine them not checking here.
Yeah, from what I remember driving through this area, there's not much out here.
This is like it. So we have to put the fear in them? Puts the boots to
I
them?
think it's the other way around.
So he puts the boots to them? Medium style? Well, we're gonna have to do something, and what do we have to do stuff with? Besides the
Yeah, what do
helicopter?
we have to work with? We
Gotta
each have a gun of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
There's a helicopter. Some of us have melee weapons. I'm sure we could find things around here if need be.
You know, the military personnel do have, several grenades combined on all of them, but the grenades, that's pretty much all they have.
Not only that, but that's kind of like... Don't get me wrong, I know it's a grenade, but it's kind of a small area of effect compared to scattered 60 people charging you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You brought up the question. Figured I'd mention that they do have explosives in the form of that.
And those could actually be used to make like tripwire traps pretty effectively.
Yeah.
Does anyone here have trapping though?
Crash, will note that
Some
he
of them might.
does have some familiarity and he could rig up some explosives, but without having seen Artesia at all or its layout, and with so many people scattered as they were, he would need some time to actually be there on site.
That's my whole thing with trying to plant explosives in the town to take care of them, is that there are so many of them and they could be spread throughout the town. It would be difficult for us to get in and out unnoticed.
And there's no guarantee that the explosives would actually do what we wanted to do.
Right.
Oh no, it went off, but it hit by freak of nature. It didn't hit anyone.
I mean, I assume if we were going to do a plan like that, we would target them when they're gathered together for another ritual type thing. But that would be difficult to plant the explosives in the open as well.
Car bomb.
We don't even have a car to drive.
Lance listen, bro. Don't suppose any of you could actually pretend to be one of them.
Well, they've
Trusty
seen
says,
us before.
I could possibly pull it off, but that's acting, not smooth talking. But wait a minute.
Patchwork of scars. They've met you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could give it a decent shot, but they've met us before, twice.
What would be the role to act as a member of the cult?
That would
Probably
be an acting thing.
I have acting. I do have acting.
That would definitely be an acting thing. I mean, it could also be a complementary in that you could, employ, persuade as well to handle a group, but that would definitely be acting.
Yeah, so I was thinking what attribute.
You know, especially since you have, little familiarity with how they operate. You're not exactly sure what they might employ or say or do to each other.
Just Tony's like, I think.
Hello, fellow cult man.
Hello, fellow Doomsday man.
How are you doing tonight on this?
Are you
Great.
looking forward to
Terrible.
the sacrifice that maybe tonight,
Good
tomorrow, or the next
night.
day?
Are you ready for the ascension?
It's time for suicide or infinite life.
Basically, Tony's like, if I could just watch them for a little bit longer, I don't know, away from the man, just them, not him.
If he's the cult leader, you'd definitely be exposed to him if you go in there.
Well, yeah, I think maybe it's like catching the flu. Once you catch it once, you really don't catch it that often again.
Or like catching the infection. Once you catch it once, you're fucked.
Wait a minute, Potman.
Apparently, he didn't catch it.
Okay.
Heads rotate to look at Potman, reminded of the fact that he was bitten.
I mean, they said that he was clean.
At the government place with the stuff and the...
Cut
That
out a
part
real
wasn't
big
so
chunk of my leg.
important to mention.
I think the idea of us acting our way into them at least would be something to at least know about. Let me repeat myself. Ingratiating ourselves within them via subtle motives. I'm sorry. I apologize. I can't talk tonight.
Well, you're obviously
Yeah,
shaking.
Trusty Tony's shaken, yeah. From that traumatic
I'm trying to verbalize the feelings Trusty Tony's feeling deep within his core right now. His swagometer is
Awesome.
His swagometer is down.
Slightly less awesome.
Yeah, slightly less awesome. That's what he's feeling right now. Basically, the idea is that we need to know more about them and what they do, and surveillance might not be the best way of doing it. I mean, does anyone else have any better ideas?
At the
I might not
moment,
got any ideas.
but I don't think infiltrating, like social infiltration, is a very good idea with a group that apparently has some sort of monster leader. If they were all normal still, I'd say sure, but I don't know now.
He might not be a monster. He just might be supremely burnt.
Weren't his eyes yellow with the magic gold stuff?
I wasn't looking. I was running away.
Well, then his eyes were golden
Something.
with the magic stuff.
How can I trust you?
Jack
Should I roll?
Jack says, we have a lack of information. Surveillance is required if we're not going to go out there and immediately destroy them all.
If somebody does intend to infiltrate, they're not going to be able to just saunter up to the group and immediately fit in without knowing a lot more about them.
No, that seems completely, exactly what I want to do.
With that in mind, and he'll actually look over towards the 4-player characters, the 4 of you have by far the most experience with handling these situations, particularly in regard to these prior cultists. It seems to me that you 4 would be the most ideal in handling the situation.
Probably. Last time we met with them, they did kind of hold us at gunpoint, steal some of our shit, and lock us up in a jail. So there's that.
Jack says, well, to be fair, the group of 4 that we encountered a few days ago, you killed them.
Hey. I gave them a chance to come here.
No, you didn't. You kind of just smashed them and...
That was
kept
scary
swinging.
as fuck. I almost pissed myself.
I'm pretty sure you 4 agreed to kill them before you even left.
Yeah, but you didn't see her. Holy shit.
We definitely
the three of
agreed it
us
was a
agreed.
strong possibility.
I didn't want to have to do that.
As you made apparent or abundantly clear, yelling the entire time.
That was fucked up.
I mean, it wasn't really our decision. Riggs talked us into it.
Zane gives a fearful look at Kat.
You're fine, Zane. Don't worry.
Zane appears unconvinced.
He's as unconvinced as Dill was.
I don't even have my bat.
All you have is your fists. Those are close enough.